Guys, it's Will from Potato Strong. I'm going to show you how to make a really easy pizza dough. It's probably my favorite right now. There's no bread maker required, so all you do is you have a cup of warm water, should be about 110 degrees Fahrenheit. I don't know if you have a thermometer you can check the temperature, but I just use the tap water to get some good, nice warm water. You can put that in a bowl. Teaspoon of sugar. This will help activate the yeast. And then I put a tablespoon of active dry yeast just on the top. We're going to let that sit for 10 minutes so the yeast can bloom. And then we're just going to add the flour and a little bit of salt. And I'll show you that part next. So we're just going to wait 10 minutes and I'll be back. See you guys. Hey guys, just wanted to show you what it should look like when the yeast is bloomed. I just wanted to mention that for the sugar and the salt, just use whatever your favorite kind is. People ask me about all sorts of different types, and whatever you're comfortable with. But they're basically required for the yeast to bloom, and the salt helps with the texture a bit. It's just 1 teaspoon. So what I'm going to do now is put in the flour and the salt. So it's 2.5 cups. Now I'm using bread flour. So I used to use whole wheat, and then I started mixing a bit of bread flour in to lighten it up. But the whole wheat is very heavy, and if you like that, that's great. But this is my new recipe that uses bread flour, and there's a bit more protein in there, and it's just a great texture. But it's not the best type of flour from a nutrient perspective. It's the whole wheat is the best choice. Some people talked about white whole wheat. You could try that. But I just wanted to point out what I'm using right now, which is the bread flour. It's definitely a lot lighter, but when it comes to pizza, it's just totally makes a huge difference. So I'll put the teaspoon of salt in there. Then I'm going to put in the 2.5 cups of bread flour. The other thing you should do is preheat your oven to 450, just in preparation for cooking the dough, making the pizza. So we've got 1. 2. The exact amount of flour is going to vary depending on where you are in the humidity. So I'll put in 2.5 cups of bread flour here. And we're going to work it into a ball similar to my other video. I'll start out with a spoon, but I might get my hands in there. So I'm just going to mix the dough in the bowl. And you want it to start to come together and form a ball. Last time I did this, I was just testing to see if how it came out, and I tended to need a bit more flour. But it was a bit of a sticky dough, and I kept it that way, and it worked out great. So you can see it starts to come together. Once it gets to that point, it's a little bit hard to stir. So what I'm going to do is get my hands in there, clean hands, and mix in the flour that's kind of in the dough. The other hand here. After you do this a bit, just with flour and water, you start to get a sense of the water. What you need, if you need a bit more flour or if you need a bit more water. So you can see here, I've got a ball. When you do this, you can start to feel there's some wet spots. It might seem like at first that you don't have enough flour or you don't have enough water, but you got to work Just work it a little bit. You'll see there's some wet spots in there. And that'll absorb some more flour from the bowl. So it's pretty close. And when I take it out, I'm going to leave the ball for 5 minutes, just to let it sit for there. But you can add a bit more flour, or just adjust when you spread it out for the final, when you go to make the pizza dough. So that's pretty much a nice texture, nothing wet. So I'm just going to leave that in the bowl for 5 minutes and cover it. So the oven is basically heated up, but usually you know, as it's heating up, you can do the dough and you'll have the pizza, be ready to make your pizza within about a half an hour. So I'm just going to cover this bowl, and this makes basically one pizza. This is a pan, a non-stick pan. I'll put a bit of flour in there in about 5 minutes and spread the dough out and add the toppings. But one of these makes, the 2.5 cups make one pizza, and I'll usually eat about half of that, potentially with a salad. And I'll make another one for Bonnie as well. So I'm just going to make these two separate. All right, we'll talk to you guys in 5 minutes. Okay guys, it's been about 5 minutes or so. I'm going to take the dough out and put it on the pan, spread it out. So here's one of them. Just a tad sticky. I floured a pan here. So I just roll this around a bit. So the flour on the pan just gets into the dough. So it's really nice now. So it takes just a little bit of flour can take some of that, a little bit of that stickiness out. So what I'm going to do is just spread this. Flip it a few times. You can put, you know, whatever your favorite topping sauce on there. I put onions, green pepper, red pepper. We usually put fresh tomatoes and jalapenos or hot banana peppers. And then the sauce, I'll put crushed tomatoes with some spinach and add some Italian spice, onion and garlic powder. So you just want to work this, spread this out. This is great because within a half an hour I can make pizza, whereas before it used to be an hour and a half in the Breadmaker, and you know, if you didn't think about it soon enough, you wouldn't really be able to make it. So this way there's really not much kneading or time required. So there we go. Spread out pretty well. Might spread it out a bit more. I'm going to pre-bake this as well, just a bit to crisp it up before putting the toppings on, because last time just in the middle it wasn't quite crispy enough underneath all the sauce that I put on. So I'm going to put this in the oven for, you know, 5 to 10 minutes just to watch it and let it pre-cook. If you have a pizza stone or something, you know, it probably works better than this, but this is what I have right now, so I'm just showing you what I do. Okay guys, see you in a bit. Hey guys, I'm just going to take the pizza dough out that I was pre-baking a bit. So there you go, I'm going to add the toppings and then throw it back in to finish. See you guys. Here we go, here's the final product guys. Talk to you later.